The fatigue you carry is not a physical weight, but a spiritual one. It is the deep, aching exhaustion of a soul that has been loaned out too many times without interest, without return. You feel it in your bones, this hollowed-out sensation, as if you are a well that everyone draws from but no one ever fills. You smile, you nod, you say, "I'm fine," because that's what you've been programmed to do. You were taught that generosity is the highest virtue, that self-sacrifice is noble, that if you just give enough, love and respect will naturally flow back to you. But here you are, empty, looking at a world that seems to reward the takers, the loud ones, the ones with half your capacity but double your recognition. You are the reliable one, the one they call at 2 a.m., the one who stays late, the one who listens, who fixes, who absorbs. And what do you get in return? The crumbs of their time, the leftovers of their affection, the shallow gratitude that evaporates before it even reaches your heart. You are an energy source in a world of drains, and you are running on fumes. This is not a personal failing. This is a systemic breakdown of the very concept of goodness you were sold. You believe your kindness is a beacon. But in the shadowy recesses of human interaction, boundless generosity is often interpreted not as love, but as weakness. It signals an absence of self-value. And people, whether consciously or not, do not respect what is freely given. They consume it. They use it until it is depleted, then they move on to the next source. Your pain is the evidence of this transaction. The resentment building in your chest is the invoice for services rendered that were never paid. If you want the bleeding to stop, if you truly desire to shift from being the prey in everyone else's narrative to becoming the architect of your own, you must undertake a profound and uncomfortable metamorphosis. You must do the one thing that feels like a betrayal of everything you were conditioned to believe. It is not about becoming cruel. It is not about adopting the very exploitative tactics that have been used against you. It is about mastering a psychological shift so fundamental that it rewires your relationships with others, and most critically, with yourself. Most people will live their entire lives as background characters, as resources to be extracted. They believe their utility is their worth, that being useful equals being safe. This is the grand lie that keeps you enslaved, pleasing, and perpetually tired. By the time you finish engaging with this, that lie will be dismantled. We are not going to trade in empty platitudes. We will not simply tell you to be confident or love yourself. Those are destinations without a map. We are going into the mechanics of power. We are going to explore the biology of respect, the necessity of the shadow self, and the practical, actionable steps to become mentally and emotionally sovereign. This is a surgical procedure on your psyche. It requires the death of the person you are now, the apologetic people pleaser, the automatic yes, the silent martyr. That person must die so the sovereign can be born. The secret lies in a specific psychological trigger that forces an immediate reevaluation of your worth. It is the art of becoming gold in a world that treats you like air. Let's begin the surgery. Let's look at the raw biology of your situation. In nature, a predator does not casually attack another predator. The cost-benefit analysis is all wrong. The risk of injury is too high. A lion does not hunt a wolf pack for sport. It seeks the vulnerable, the isolated, the slow, the harmless. This is not malice. It is efficiency. Now, translate this to the human jungle. When you present yourself as perpetually harmless, always agreeable, always available, eternally accommodating, never offended, you are broadcasting a primal signal. You are not signaling, "I am virtuous." You are signaling, "I am safe to exploit." There are no consequences here. Think about the people you genuinely respect. Do you respect them because they do everything you ask? Do you respect them because they are incapable of setting you straight? Of course not. You respect them because they possess a palpable sense of self, a line in the sand. You know, instinctively, that if you cross that line, there will be a reaction. There is a potential for pushback, for loss, for a cost. That potential, that contained power, is what commands respect. A harmless person, therefore, is not a good person. A harmless person is simply a person without options. A rabbit is not peaceful by choice. It is peaceful by necessity, because it lacks claws and fangs. True virtue, true goodness, is only meaningful when it is a choice. It requires the capacity for the opposite, for destruction, for saying the devastating thing, for walking away and letting things burn, and consciously choosing not to exercise it. That is controlled power. That is integrity. That is what makes others sit up and take notice. Right now, you are being used because you have shown the world you have no teeth. You have demonstrated, through repeated action, that no matter how someone treats you, whether they cancel plans last minute, talk over you, take credit for your work, or disregard your feelings, you will stay. You will rationalize. You will forgive. You will understand. You must stop understanding and start observing. Their behavior is not a mystery. They are not confused. They are testing the fence. And every time they lean on it and it gives way, they learn a concrete lesson. This territory has no defense. You are cheap real estate. This is the first, bitter pill you must swallow. You are not merely a victim of their cruelty. You are a victim of your own lack of boundaries. You have handed them the very weapon they are using. Why would you do such a thing? Because you are terrified. You are petrified that if you show your teeth, if you reveal a capacity for anger or withdrawal, they will leave. And deep in your core, you believe a devastating lie, that you are not enough to make them stay without your utility. You believe your doing is your being. This is the trauma bond you have with the world. You are attempting to purchase love and security with servitude. It is a transaction where you are being catastrophically shortchanged every single day. The first step to ending the exploitation is to stop being harmless. It is to integrate what Carl Jung called your shadow, the suppressed, monstrous parts of yourself that contain your aggression, your self-interest, your capacity to say no. But before we build the new, we must fully understand the trap you're in. You are running a scam, and you don't even know it. You think you're being a saint, but psychologically, you are operating on a covert contract with nearly everyone in your life. The contract reads, I will hide my needs. I will never get angry. I will anticipate your desires and fulfill them. I will be the perfect, low-maintenance friend, partner, employee. In return, you must love me, appreciate me, protect me, and never leave me. Here is the fatal flaw. You never told them about the contract. You signed it unilaterally in the silent theater of your mind. And now you are furious, resentful, and heartbroken that they aren't upholding their end of a bargain they never agreed to. You are angry they don't read your mind. You are bitter they don't sacrifice for you as you do for them. But why would they? You have made it effortless for them to take. You have removed all friction. This is the dark, manipulative underbelly of the nice person syndrome. It is a strategy, a fearful one, designed to avoid rejection by making oneself indispensable. If I am useful enough, they can't discard me. It is the calculus of a servant trying to avoid the whip. But the master-servant dynamic remains intact. When you operate from this hidden contract, you are not giving freely. You are lending with high emotional interest. And when the other person fails to repay you in the currency of validation, you become toxic with resentment. This bitterness leaks. It seeps out in passive-aggressive comments, heavy sighs, the fine that isn't fine, the silent treatment after you've volunteered yet again. People smell this resentment. It is repulsive. It makes them lose respect for you even as they continue to use you. They see you as a martyr, and nobody respects a living martyr. You must tear up the covert contract. You must stop trading obedience for approval, because the approval you receive for compliance is not love. It is a drug, a fast-acting, short-lived stimulant that leaves you craving the next hit, perpetually in withdrawal. True respect, the kind that protects you from exploitation, only emerges when you act from a place of genuine choice, often from enlightened self-interest. This brings us to a core economic principle: opportunity cost. Every yes you utter carries the hidden cost of a no elsewhere. When you say yes to helping a colleague with their project while yours languishes, you are saying no to your own advancement. When you say yes to a partner's demands that drain you, you are saying no to your own vitality. You are selling your finite time, energy, and life for pennies on the dollar. And in the marketplace of human value, that which is always available, always on discount, is valued at zero. Air is essential for life, but because it is abundant, it is free. Gold has little practical use, but because it is rare, it is coveted. You have been acting like air. It is time to become gold. How do you become gold? You cultivate scarcity. Human psychology is wired to value what is at risk of loss far more than it desires potential gain. This is the fear of loss principle. Right now, no one fears losing you. You are a fixture, a reliable lamp in the corner, useful when needed, utterly ignorable when not. But if that lamp began to flicker unpredictably, it would garner attention. If it disappeared, they would be left in the dark. You must learn the art of strategic withdrawal. This is not about playing childish mind games or ghosting people to be toxic. It is about the conscious, dignified redistribution of your energy. When you feel the familiar sting of being used, your old programming will scream at you to try harder, to explain yourself, to seek validation. Don't you see all I do for you? This is the moment to do the exact opposite. Stop. Become silent. Pull your energy back. The moment you withdraw your attention and predictable availability, you create a vacuum in the dynamic. The other person will feel it. They may lean in. Is everything okay? Are you upset with me? Do not mistake this for caring. Often, it is a supply check. They are checking on the appliance that has suddenly stopped working. Here, you stand at a crossroads. You can revert to type, "Oh, no, I'm fine. Sorry if I seemed off," and plug yourself back into their socket. Or, you can hold the silence. You can respond with calm ambiguity, just focusing on some priorities right now. Ambiguity is powerful. Clarity, when it means total transparency about your emotional state and needs, is often weak. An open book is easy to read and easier to tear pages from. A sealed volume is handled with curiosity and care. Become comfortable with the space between you and others. Most people are terrified of this space. They rush to fill it with chatter, texts, apologies, emojis. The sovereign individual is comfortable in the void. When you stop initiating, you conduct a powerful audit. You see who reaches out to connect with you and who only reaches out to access your utility. The phone will grow silent from certain numbers. Let it. Let the dead leaves fall. Your terror of being alone has kept you in servile company. But solitude is the workshop of the self. Slavery is its prison. As you apply scarcity to your presence, your yes gains value. If you say no to 90% of requests, the 10% you accept become events. They become privileges. People begin to think, "He said yes to me. I must be special." See the profound flip? Previously, you were begging them to see you as important. Now, by withholding your availability, you make them feel important when you grant it. You have flipped the script. You are no longer a petitioner. You are the architect. Now, let's descend deeper into the mechanics of power, into the Jungian shadow. Jung famously said, "I would rather be whole than good." Wholeness requires integrating your capacity for darkness, your so-called monster. You must acknowledge your ability to be dangerous. This brings us to the one thing you must do to stop being used. You must be willing to burn the bridge while you are still standing on it. People exploit you because they sense your attachment to the outcome. You need the job. You need the relationship. You need the peace. The person who cares least in any interaction holds the most power. This is the iron law of social dynamics. If you are unable to walk away, you are a prisoner. And prisoners are exploited. To cultivate this ability to walk away, you must develop a ruthless commitment, not to harming others, but to honoring yourself above your own fear of discomfort. You must be willing to face the chaotic unknown of a no, rather than endure the suffocating familiarity of a compromising yes. This requires integrating your aggression, not violence. Aggression is the primal energy of forward motion against resistance. It is the force that says, "This is my boundary. Cross it, and there will be a consequence." Without this energy, your boundaries are mere suggestions, written in sand at low tide. Recall a time you were disrespected and said nothing. Remember the heat in your chest, the tightness in your jaw? That was your shadow, your innate self-respect, screaming to be let out. You choked it down. You swallowed the poison to keep the peace, and that poison now sickens you as resentment. Next time, let the heat rise. You need not scream or fight. Simply let the emotion move through you. Then, with absolute stillness, look the person in the eye and state your boundary. "I will not accept being spoken to that way." Or, "I cannot take that on." Then, and this is the master key, stop talking. Do not justify. Do not explain. Do not apologize. Deliver the statement and hold the silence that follows. This silence will be heavy, electric, uncomfortable. The other person will scramble. They may joke, deflect, blame, or accuse you of being sensitive. Do not react. Hold your gaze. You are, in that moment, showing them the monster. You are revealing that beneath the agreeable surface lies an immovable core that will enforce a cost. This single moment can recategorize you in their subconscious from safe, usable, to respected, potentially dangerous. You have become a person of consequence. The reason you haven't done this is your addiction to external regulation. Your sense of okayness is contingent on others being pleased with you. If someone is angry or disappointed, your internal world collapses into anxiety. You rush to fix, to appease, to stabilize their mood in order to calm yourself. You must develop emotional autonomy, the ability for your internal state to remain independent of external reactions. If they are angry, let them be angry. Their emotional weather is not your responsibility to manage. Practice becoming a gray rock. Be uninteresting, unreactive, impenetrable to drama. When a manipulator tries to provoke guilt or anger, offer nothing. A flat voice, a neutral expression. Can you cover my shift? I know you're tired, but I really want to go to this party. No, I can't. Why not? You never do anything. You're so selfish. I understand you're disappointed, but the answer is no. Full stop. No jade, justify, argue, defend, explain. You are stating a fact of reality, like gravity. Gravity does not argue. It simply is. By refusing to engage in the emotional tug-of-war, you strip them of their power. Manipulators feed on reaction. In your non-reactive silence, they are left alone with their own toxicity. Emotional autonomy is your ultimate shield. It allows you to shift from absorbing people to observing them. You start to see the strings. Ah, she's using flattery now as a tactic. He's playing the victim to avoid responsibility. It becomes a sociological study, not a personal tragedy. And when you see the game, you can choose not to play. The only winning move with a chronic user is to decline the match. We must now reframe your entire identity. You have conflated availability with value. You believe that being ever-present makes you indispensable. This is backwards. Water is everywhere, so we waste it. Diamonds are hidden and require excavation, so we treasure them. You must shift your core identity from being a helper to being a builder. Helpers are used. Builders are hired. Helpers beg for scraps of gratitude. Builders command a price. What are you building? Your skills? Your health? Your financial independence? Your creative vision? Or are you merely carrying bricks for someone else's castle, hoping they'll let you sleep in the gatehouse? When you commit to building your own empire, however modest, you naturally become less available. You aren't playing hard to get. You are genuinely engaged in meaningful, self-directed work. This inherent purpose is magnetically attractive. People are drawn to momentum. When they see you moving with direction, they want to be part of your orbit. Now they are chasing you not for what they can extract, but for the energy and value you are creating. This is the evolution from nice person to architect. The architect has a blueprint. She has priorities. She does not have time to fix everyone's leaking faucets because she is laying the foundation for her own structure. If you want the architect's time, you must offer something of commensurate value: respect, reciprocity, interesting conversation, shared mission. This acts as a natural filter. Parasites seek open wounds and stagnant energy. They cannot latch onto a moving train. Get moving. Have a purpose that is greater than any single relationship. This sounds cold, but it is the foundation of healthy connection. If your partner is your entire world, you are a burden, a weight they must carry. If you have your own world, you are a partner, a fellow explorer. You become a mystery, a challenge. And human beings are wired to value what they have to earn. Stop giving your precious essence away for free. Create a VIP section in your life. Not everyone gets a backstage pass. The price of admission is respect, integrity, and reciprocal energy. If they can't pay, they remain in the lobby. And you feel no guilt because you now know the priceless value of what you guard inside. There is a sin more corrosive than any other: the sin of self-betrayal. Every time you say yes when your soul screams no, you betray yourself. You tell your deepest self your feelings are invalid. Your needs are secondary. You do not matter. Commit this sin often enough, and you breed a deep, simmering self-hatred. This is the true source of your exhaustion. You are not tired from work. You are tired from the civil war within. the part of you that wants to live at war with the part that is killing itself to appease others. You must end the war. Declare a truce with yourself and a firm stance against disrespect. This is the essence of the one thing. You must become willing to be cast as the villain in someone else's story to become the hero in your own. They will call you selfish. They will say you've changed. They will accuse you of being cold. Your response? Correct. I have changed. I am no longer available for consumption. Let them paint their picture. In many narratives, the villain is simply the one who stopped complying, the one who placed their own needs first. On the title, if protecting my peace makes me the villain, then I am the villain. When you accept this label, their weapons of guilt and shame turn to dust. Guilt only works if you believe you should feel guilty. Shame only lands if you agree you are shameful. If you shrug and say, maybe I am selfish, I'm okay with that, you have disarmed them completely. This is Machiavellian indifference, the ultimate freedom of not needing their understanding or approval. The price of universal liking is self-loathing. That is a price you can no longer afford. Envision a version of you 6 months from now. This version enters a room without scanning for approval. This version speaks with measured clarity, without filler words or apologies. When presented with an unreasonable demand, this version says no with a calm, final smile and feels not a ripple of guilt. This version attracts respect magnetically. People feel safe in their presence, not because they are harmless, but because they are solid, predictable in their self-respect. This version is not used. They are consulted. They are not drained. They are energized. This reality is attainable, but it demands a sacrifice. You must sacrifice the cramped comfort of your cage. You must sacrifice the fairy tale that if you are just nice enough, the world will be nice in return. The world is not nice. It is neutral. It respects leverage. It respects power. It respects those who demonstrate, through unwavering action, that they respect themselves. You teach people how to treat you, not through lectures or pleas, but through what you silently tolerate, through the requests you decline, through the times you withdraw your presence without fanfare, through the serene silence you hold after stating a boundary. This is the primal language the unconscious mind understands. Once you become fluent in it, the dynamics shift irrevocably. You will look back on the person you are today, the person begging for scraps of affection, over-functioning in hopes of being seen, twisting themselves into a pretzel to avoid conflict. And you will feel not shame, but compassion. You will see a ghost of your former self, a necessary phase that you have outgrown. The exhaustion will have transformed into vitality. The resentment will have morphed into discernment. You will no longer be a resource to be mined. You will be a sovereign state, negotiating treaties, not surrendering territory. The journey begins with a single, deliberate act of disobedience against your old programming. It begins with a no where you would have said yes. It begins with staying silent when you would have rushed to fill the space. It begins with reclaiming 1 hour of your time for your own mission and defending it like the treasure it is. This is not a one-time event, but a daily practice. There will be backlash. The people who have grown accustomed to your unlimited supply will protest. They may rage, guilt trip, or vanish. Let them. Their exit is the system purging a parasite. It creates space for relationships built on mutual respect, not extraction. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to become real, to become whole, to build a life that honors the depth and power you have always possessed but were taught to hide. The monster in your garden is not your enemy. It is your guardian. It is the part of you that says, this far and no further. Integrate it. Wield its power with consciousness and integrity. Stop being air. Become gold. Stop being a helper. Become a builder. Stop seeking approval. Command respect. The world does not give you what you deserve. It gives you what you negotiate. It is time to renegotiate the terms of your entire existence. The power to do so has been within you all along, dormant, waiting for you to finally choose yourself. If this resonates with you, if you are ready to end the cycle of exhaustion and exploitation, then you cannot afford to let this be just another piece of content you consume and forget. This is a blueprint for a revolution of the self. Your first act of defiance is to engage. Click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. The algorithms control visibility. By subscribing, you ensure this channel's ideas, which challenge the very programming that keeps you small, continue to reach those who need them. You are not just subscribing to a channel. You are joining a coalition of people choosing sovereignty over servitude. This transformation requires reinforcement. The old patterns are seductive and will call you back. Every video, every concept you engage with here is a counter-programming strike against those patterns. So subscribe now. Do not put it off. Make the commitment to your own evolution visible. Your engagement is the currency of change in the digital realm. If this material has ignited something in you, a recognition, a spark of anger, a surge of hope, then you must share it. Share this with the person you know who is quietly drowning in their own generosity. Share it on your social platforms. Talk about it. The ideas that are not shared are ideas that die. Be a carrier of this virus of empowerment. Break the conspiracy of silence that keeps people pleasing and perpetually tired. Hit the share button right now. Spread the signal. The comment section is your training ground. This is where you practice your new voice. Do not just passively absorb. Engage. Disagree. Ask questions. Share your own insights and breakthroughs. Your perspective is unique and valuable. By commenting, you solidify these concepts in your own mind, and you contribute to a community of learners and builders. You are moving from consumption to participation. That is a micro step in your shift from NPC to architect. Leave a comment below. Tell me where you are in this journey. What is the one bridge you need to be willing to burn? Your words have power. Start using them. This is not a spectator sport. Your life is the arena. The time for passive reading is over. If you have gotten this far, you are ready. The surgery has begun. Now, you must do the healing. You must do the work. It will be uncomfortable. It will be terrifying. And it will be the most liberating thing you have ever done. The world of the used and resentful is behind you. The world of the sovereign and respected is ahead. The bridge is yours to cross or to burn. Choose. Subscribe. Share. Like. Comment. These are not mere buttons. They are your first acts of deliberate, non-compliant engagement. Do it now.